Welcome to Spartan Summit 2024. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Kavya, Director of Product Marketing at Lambda Test, your host for the session. It's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dimpy Adhikary, consultant Thoughtworks, who will shed light on the effective evaluation of automation tools. If you have ever found yourself overwhelmed by the multitude of automation tool options, unsure of the right fit for your project in terms of usability and alignment, with your time and budget constraints, you are in for a treat. Dimpy, a seasoned speaker and experienced test architect with over 18 years in the industry, is also well versed in developing testing strategies for complex architectural problems and implementing automated testing strategies. Before I hand it over to Dimpy, would request our attendees to show their love and support by using emojis, which you can find on your screens below. I can see that a lot of attendees are already using it. Good to see that. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A box to post them, and we will pick the questions towards the end of the workshop. Now, please join me in welcoming Dimpy.
Thank you so much, Kavya. Hello, everyone. Let me share the screen. Please confirm that the sharing is visible. Hope it is visible to everyone. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Dimpy, and I'll be presenting about effective evaluation of automation tools workshop today. Before we start, a quick introduction about me. I'm working as a quality analyst at Thoughtworks, and this is my LinkedIn handle. You can connect with me at any time. So here's the quick agenda for today. So we will start with discussing about some common challenges while selecting automation tools. Then we'll see automation tools ecosystem, followed by automation tools selection criteria. And then I will start with the workshop overview. And we'll start with a group activity practical session, and followed by group presentation, and we'll wrap up with Q&A. So this is the agenda for today. So before we start, right, so why it is very difficult to select a tool. We have a lot of tools available with different capabilities, and we have also a lot of problems to solve. I would start this session with a poll. Kavya, if you can start the poll.
Dimpy, it is visible to everyone, and we've started seeing the votes coming in.
Thank you. I could see some interesting facts are coming out. Okay. Do you want a few more seconds? Okay, I think we can continue. You can continue to vote. Let's analyze the discuss whatever results we have found. Uh, okay, can we see the results once? Okay, I got it. So I think majority of people has voted for technical challenges, like around 55%, then followed by organizational challenges and followed by business challenges. That's pretty good. Thank you for your responses. Let's go back to the slides. Yeah. As I told, we have lot many tools and so many problems to solve, right? So maybe one particular tool is not enough to solve all the problems. That's the that's the main reason why this workshop has been made, to help you all, to select a tool in a efficient manner and with fun. So, what are the common challenges while selecting an automation tool? As I added in the poll, the first challenge is the business challenge. So, what comes under business challenge? One is the budget constraint. So, why do we need budget? If we are purchasing any tool, we have to keep some dedicated budget for that. Then maybe training purpose, we have to keep budget, as well as maintenance purpose, we need to keep budget. And then we sometimes we may have timeline limitations, right? So we need to complete our automation work within a fixed timelines or deadlines. Then it is also happens, the ROI we are expecting from automation is not clear when you start selecting or evaluating your tool. No, what is the purpose or what is the end goal of your automation, that might not be clear. Then scalability concerns. So now today maybe your product is small, but over a period of time it will grow, right? New features will be added, maybe new teams will onboard. So how scalable your automation tool to tackle those challenges is also another area. Uh, Technical challenges, yes, there are a lot of technical challenges. One is the feature alignment, the purpose of your tool. So, as I told before, we may have different purposes or different problems to solve. It can be web automation, it can be mobile automation, it can be API automation, database automation, performance testing, security testing, right? Your problem statement is actually a very huge umbrella, right? Then the learning curve. So all tools doesn't have same learning curve. Some of the tools are easy to learn, some of the tool may have more difficult learning curves. Then maintenance and update, again, as we develop product, right? So you add new features. A tools also is the same, right? So when a tool is first developed, it may come with certain set of features, but over a period of time, new features, new updates will keep on coming. And you have to also see whether your test scripts are compatible with that. You can, at the live example, I could see Selenium, it has gone through many versions, right? Then data security and privacy. Again, if you compare with an application development, your application should be secure. And in a similar way, when we write test code, right, or test framework, we are actually adding some of the features, right? So we are testing some of the key business scenarios. So that data should be always secure. And in case you are actually testing some of the applications in specific domains like healthcare domain or finance domain, you may need to go through some compliance requirements as well. Then organizational challenges, yes, it also has a big share actually. Lack of buy-in, right? So sometimes we just start, analyzing or evaluating the need of a tool, but maybe our other team members, your stakeholders, not aware, or they are not, ready to accept that tool, right? So that is another challenge. Then process management, right? So you are actually transiting from one process to another. Initially, maybe you are doing some kind of manual testing in your project, then you want to transform into bring in automation testing processes. So it's not just a tool, you have to also keep a proper process in place. the team skill set, right? So maybe the team members are comfortable with one technology set, or one few tools, but that tool is not sufficient for your current needs. So you may need to learn new technologies, new languages, new tools. So those, that is also another challenge area. Then long-term sustainability, yes, when you look for selecting an automation tool, you have to also see if your tool is sustainable for long-term, because your project duration may be, a short-term project, long-term project, right? And maybe after some time, you may need to onboard different teams into your project. So how stable and sustainable your automation tool to, see those changes. Let's see the automation tools ecosystem. Yes, we have different categories of tools, as I mentioned before. So, open sourced one, yeah, those are free ones, and strong, stable ones. Some are stable, some are new, and provides a lot of features. And we are happy with the performance, like Selenium, Appium, Rest Assured. Then we have their commercial counterpart, right? So again, there are a lot of tools are there and a lot of competition, like 𝐿Q, Test Complete, Sahi Pro, right? So they also come up with a lot of features and provide a wider range of capabilities. Like, one tool can help you to do mobile testing, API testing, and yeah, it comes with a cost, obviously, because those are commercial tools. And there are some tools which are hybrid in nature. For example, like Postman, they have both free version and the paid version. And recently Bruno has come into picture, which is also a simple API testing tool, promising tool, which has both commercial as well as open source version. Then this is a new category. I like this actually, because ID extensions or plugins. Nowadays, yeah, we cannot get out of the IDE, right? Our development environment. So, and most of the IDs bundles with lot of tools which can, fit for some specific purposes, right? So you really don't need to come out of your ID. You can do everything from your ID, and some of those are very promising as well. And one example is Thunder Client. It's a API testing tool. It comes with VS Code. It has both paid version as well as a free version. Yes, again, like, free version, you may not get all the features. Some important features will definitely come under the paid version. Then even JetBrains, IntelliJ comes with test automation plugin. So that is also another, useful ID extension. But again, these extensions are quite new to the industry, and those are may not be very extensively tested as compared to the open source like Selenium, Appium, or Rest Assured. But yeah, those are promising. Then we have another category, RPA tools. Again, those exist for a specific need, like UiPath, Power Automate from Microsoft. And we have this execution labs comes into picture when we want to run, a lot of test cases in different browsers, devices, right? So execution load can be delegated to these execution lab service providers like Browser Stack, Lambda Test, Source Labs, etc. Provided we have all these categories. I would like to mention one last one, which is not there in the slide, which is like monitoring tools which are available nowadays, like Splunk and Datadog, which are also coming up with a lot of testing features. Like you can write simple browser-based automation workflow testing. You can create simple monitors to test the application health, and you can get alerts and notification. Again, has some specific purpose and can be combined with our regular testing cycles. In case your team is using those, so you can always delegate some of the tasks to those kind of tools. So yeah, this is a bigger automation tools ecosystem. Now you can understand, like, we have a very huge set of tools to select from. So let's dive into the automation tools selection criteria section. So how we can select a tool, basically, we have so many things in the plate, right? So maybe one project of the same organization is using one tool, the other project may not use the same tool, right? So they are maybe using a different tool. So what should be the unified criteria to select a tool? So we will link those challenges I have discussed before to this section. First one is your business criteria. So you can always, pick up sub criteria under business, like your budget, your timelines, your, stability part, right? So those kind of things, maintenance part, comes under the business criteria. Then the purpose, it's the important part. When you select an automation tool specifically, there will be some, subcategories which are generic to automation, and there should be some categories which are specific to the problem statement you are solving or you're going to solve. For example, right, so you are selecting a tool for web automation. So under the generic purpose, maybe, it should support web automation, it should have good assertion mechanism, it should maybe support parallel execution, browser compatibility test, easy integration with the CI system. But when you go deeper into the, feature compliance, right, section, that time you have to consider, main problem statements, which may be specific to the domain, specific to the application you are testing, right? So suppose you are testing a browser application and which has a lot of dynamic element now, or it may have, a lot of frames, right? So you have to make sure, like, when you pick this tool, those points should be there and it should support those points easily. Next thing is security. Again, security is very, very important, because you are going to keep your, test scripts uh, in some place, right? So suppose you are using a third party application, then they may need to ask you, like, you have to create an account before starting the tool. So how they are actually, what kind of data they are taking from you, how they are saving those data in their servers, is that secure? Those kind of information you have to take it from them. And also, if you are using an open source tool, for example, right, so there are a lot of packages, right, but all those those tools are secure. So you really have to scan it before using, so that you can make sure, like, whatever you are doing is safe and secure. It's not just for the commercial tools, but also for the open source tools, you have to make sure security is in place. Another important area is developer experience, right? So end of the day, it's the human who will be using those tools. So you have to make sure those are, easy to use, easy to set up, and those have good community support, right? So if you're using a new tool, you may not get much support, much documentations. But if you're using an established tool, mature tool, you may get more, community support, maybe video tutorials, blogs available, and, forums available where you can ask questions, clarify your doubts. And yeah, stability is another area here, where, if you're using, or if you're trying a new tool, that may not be very stable. But if you're using a tool which is already there in the market for a few years, over a period of time get matured, right? So obviously you'll go ahead with a stable one. Then finally, once you have all the information, all the questions under all these four categories answered, you should go ahead with a POC to, confirm that your selection is right at that point of time. Yeah, it's very important that you do a small POC of the to know the knowns and unknowns both, and take a, decision. Okay, so I think I have only those many slides, so we can jump into the worksheet now. So this is the worksheet I have already shared with you all. It has 3 case studies, and it has some columns in the right side. I will explain what exactly we have to do and how exactly we'll be doing it. So the first one is a mobile app regression automation. So you have a e-commerce secure app, right? Mobile app, which has a frequent update and high user impact, which is already there in the market. Then the tech stack is a native app, so maybe Kotlin for Android and Swift for iOS. And yeah, you need to support quite a range of different devices, both from Android and iOS. So what are the common problems? Frequent updates, so new features and bug fixes can introduce regression, and that's the reason why we are building this entire framework and evaluating the tools. Then cross-platform compatibility needs to be, function flawlessly across different versions of devices. And UI element identification, dynamic nature or complex, and you also want to do some kind of performance analysis. And we want to evaluate 2 tools. One is Appium with Lambda test for the execution, or SLQ, that is the commercial tool. So how we are going to evaluate it? Again, I have added only few categories and subcategories, but the list will grow when you do the actual implementation. So after subcategory, also you can divide into smaller categories. For example, first category is business, right? So under business, I have kept budget, timeline, ROIs, and scalability and technical expertise. Now under budget can be subdivided into like budget for tools purchase, maybe budget for your maintenance, right? So you can subdivide according to your requirement or according to your need. And once you have those subcategories are defined, like for each category, for example, in purpose I have given the test scope, then assertion support, test data management, the parallel execution, reporting, continuous integration, and feature coverage. One thing I want to call out here, feature coverage, again I'm putting the last because feature coverage will be having more weightage for us, because we may have a lot of things to actually try out in the feature coverage. That is the scope of your POC, right? So that will grow. I just added few based on this case study, but like cross-platform compatibility, dynamic element identification, but it will definitely grow when you actually do the actual evaluation or actual POC. So that should be the main input for your POC. And then security and developer experience, right? So like ease of learning and setup, then documentation, troubleshooting, script maintainability, all those points you have to consider while you evaluate the tool. Now how we are going to do the scoring? Let me explain that process. uh, there is a weightage against each subcategory. The weightage will be 1 to 5. You can, based on your requirement, you can give any weightage here. Then you have to rank the tool, right? So in case you have given a weightage, I'll just give a hypothetical example here. For example, I have given weightage budget as 3. Now you can see that budget is sufficient for you to purchase Lambda test license plus go ahead with Appium. That means you can rank that subcategory as 1. Okay, so your effective ranking for that budget will be 3, like weightage into the ranking multiplication. And then you could see like your budget is less, so you're not able to go ahead with SLQ. In that case you can give it as 0. But if you see like you can still go ahead and buy a license, you can make it as one, so that your effective ranking will be for that category will be same for both. So in this way you have to fill up this entire thing, okay, and then get a score for both the tools, and then you can compare and you can take a collaborative decision. Again, this exercise you should not do alone. You should involve your stakeholders, your team, everybody in the team who is going to either use or code basically for the automation. Your maybe project managers, you should take input from everybody, from the business folks, and then fill up this sheet. After that, do a POC and then present this to management to give a go ahead, go or no go. So that is the approach I generally follow. And for the all the three case studies, I have given the description, and you can fill up more feature coverage things. Second case study is for API testing, and you have to solve some problems like contract testing, performance testing, mocking and subbing support, security testing, and you need to evaluate rest assured and postman. And the third one is for web automation for a legacy application. So application has older HTML standard with non-semantic element uses, inconsistent element IDs and classes. How we are going to solve it? Then lot of JavaScript code, right? And dynamic elements, frames, a lot of nested frames, right? So once you have identified the problem statements, you can map those problem statements. And here we want to evaluate, Selenium versus Playwright, which is the most suitable tool. So I'll stop here. I think we can jump into a breakout room and do this exercise for a few minutes and then see how we can come up with some scores for all these three case studies as a group. Kavya, your help is needed.
Yes, I'm just creating it. So, Dimpy, quick question on the timing. Should I keep it as 15 minutes or 20 minutes? Because I think we have 30 more minutes for the session.
Yeah, I think 15 minutes.
Okay.
You all can create a copy of the sheets and you can work on your own, maybe group or as an individual. And please feel free to type in your questions so that I can answer those in the chat.
Hi, Dimpy.
Welcome back. Yeah, hope some of you got some hands-on. May not be complete because this exercise needs time. I would request you, after the session, whenever you get time, you can complete it and see, if you are able to evaluate a tool with all those criterias. Yeah, generally, when we evaluate a tool, the more we will be more inclined towards the technical aspects, but that may not give you a full holistic view of the process. So if you divide all the angles, like business angles, your developer experience, your purpose, fitness, so you will get a complete view of the tool which you are going to select, and followed by a maybe short or simple POC. You will be able to confidently present your findings to the team, to the management, to the project people, and everybody. Otherwise, like suppose you have selected a tool without doing all those things, just a POC, people may not get involved. But in this process, you should be able to get more involvement in an agile way in the team, and get the complete picture of your evaluation process. That's what I wanted to convey as part of this exercise. Hope it was useful for some of you. And yeah, I think I'm done from the presentation and the workshop point of view. I think we can take up a couple of questions. Uh, Kavya, over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dimpy. So we do have some questions. I'll just pull it up onto the screen. So this is from Sutton, who's asking, how do you ensure that the automation tool you choose aligns with your project specific needs?
Yeah. The main purpose of this evaluation is that only it's not just the technical aspects but your entire project aspects. There will be some business goals, right? So for example, your budgets, your timelines, there will be some feature specific goals, right? So which you really need to incorporate in your framework. So you have to go deeper into those different angles. I have kept only few which are like very high level, but you have to dip deeper into those categories and find out what is exactly your project specific need, and then evaluate your tool accordingly. And this process should be, you should always discuss your findings with your team, and then take their feedback, incorporate their feedback, and then proceed.
Great. Just pulling the next question in. This is from Damini, who's asking, what are the top 3 factors you consider when evaluating automation tools?
Okay, so again, the points, I'll take the points from the workshop slides itself. So I see first the business things, and then developer experience and community support is must, because until and unless you are comfortable to use that tool, you will not be happy. Irrespective of what kind of outcome you are getting, you will not be happy. So developer experience is must, your business goals should be must, and your feature alignment should be must. So those are the top 3 factors I generally always consider while evaluating the tool.
Great. Moving on to the next one. So this is from Vishnu. To automate legacy desktop-based applications, which open source tools can we choose with good community support?
Okay, I have not worked in this area like desktop automation. Only I have limited exposure. I have used WinApp Driver, but again, now the community support to that tool is limited. But there are some other, commercial tools like this. Complete is one. Uh, but in the open space. I think very limited things are there in this space.
Great. Good mark. This has answered. Moving to the next question. This is from Atul. RPA or open source tools, which would you choose for a small expanding team? Since I've seen so many problems with RPA, such as elements that remain inactive after recording, I assumed it wasn't very dependable. How do you feel?
Okay. See, RPA tools are having some purpose, right? So if your application has a lot of business flows, for example, SAP application, right? So or ERP application, which or Salesforce, right? So those are very heavy business flow applications. So on those applications, maybe RPA tools can be right choice. But otherwise, if you carefully follow testing pyramid, I think you can still manage with those open source tools for a regular web applications.
Thank you. Moving on, the next question is, what role does community support play in your evaluation of automation tools?
Okay, so community support is very, very important, because once you start using your tool, in the starting itself, suppose the tool is new, right? And tool is new, and you have not used the tool before. So obviously you should have some place to go and ask for help or ask for documentations, ask for tutorials. For example, Selenium, right? So you really, close your eyes and use it, because lot of materials are available, all are having good quality materials, right? So you name it, like video tutorial you want, blogs you want uh, chat support. They have actually Slack support where you can go and ask questions and the developers can help you answering your questions. So yeah, it's actually plays a very important role.
Thank you, Dimpy. Okay, there's a question from Shrikant, kind of similar to the previous one, but um, he's also mentioning about emerging AI options. While AI options have potential to streamline automation efforts, how should someone aspiring to become an automation engineer proceed?
Okay. Yeah, AI is there everywhere, right? So there are tools which comes with those AI components built in to help, like auto healing capabilities, and then generate your test, which can be a lifesaver in at some point of time, because you have lot of tests to automate, and that can actually help you to generate those boilerplate codes in few seconds, right? So you can build something on top of it. Yeah, AI is the future and we should always use those tools. And even you can use but the problem is like the security, right? So you are generating code for your automation, then you have to ask, give some permissions to the AI, right? So suppose you are using chat GPT or bot or something, right? So some chat bot to generate code, you have to make sure, like you ask, you don't share the confidential information with those chatbots which are publicly available, right? If you see, they are always go through their policies and documents, like how they are getting information from you, how they are using those information to train their models. Again, nowadays lot of offline models are also available. You can always explore those models so that you can build something in house in your company and in a more secure way. But again, AI is there and it will be there, so you
Thank
cannot
you.
escape from AI. You have to learn it.
Thank you. So the next question is from Sanvi, and it is, how do you handle situations where multiple tools seem equally suitable for a project?
Okay, so in case of a tie,
Yeah,
yeah, so still you may see some areas that in that case maybe you can ask additional questions, additional subcategories to bring in to take a decision. Sometimes it happens, like suppose you are evaluating two open source tools which are like having the similar kind of capabilities. In that case, you can see the comfort level of your team members or the team which is going to use that tool. If you see they have a inclination towards a single tool which is like they are more comfortable, you can pick that because it's already fulfilling all your requirements. Or else you can go a little deeper, maybe evaluate it with additional parameters.
great. I'm also keeping a track of the time. Yeah, so we do have time for more questions. Bringing up the next one. What's one key takeaway we should remember when selecting automation tools for projects? This is from Lily.
Yeah, one thing I always see in my experience, like a tool, after doing all the process, also sometimes maybe after some time after using the tool and after onboarding the tool for over a period of time, you may come up with some limitations, right? So it's not like you select a tool, you're onboarding the tool and you will be using that tool lifelong. So that is one takeaway, like, tools world is always evolving. So as our, evaluation process also, we should keep a check on the new requirements and new findings in the tool itself, like how it is actually evolving. So for example, recently, like Postman, right? So it's a very popular tool. Many people use it, but there was a time where Postman stopped their scratchpad, right? So, and you need to log in using their free features. So you have to take a call based on the situations, like, okay, what is more important for you that point of time? Is the security of your application is important, or your team, your stakeholders, your management is okay to go ahead with Postman by creating an account in their cloud and using it in the same way you are using from the day one? So you have to evolve with time.
The next question is from Ritesh. How do we deal with the business aspect while evaluating tools? Technical aspects could still be taken as a part of POC.
Yeah. So, what generally I do to get involved the stakeholders and the business people, like your project manager or your delivery managers or your key stakeholders, and see if they have any choices in their mind or they have any budget constraints before even starting. If we have those points, like, okay, they have limited budget, so we can go ahead with tool which suits their budget. Or maybe they have some concerns, like, okay, we have budget but we want to complete everything within a time. So you may, in that point, like, you may tool select a tool which will help you to finish quickly the things, right? So if you involve those key stakeholders in your discussions, initial discussions, and ask the questions, key questions, and get their opinion before starting, I think that will help.
Great. Moving on. Yeah, this is so the question is, should we consider the tech stack used for developing the application while choosing the right automation framework or tools?
Yeah, at least if you select the same tech stack, that will help you to get more support from the dev team. Suppose that you are in a Java stack, and dev team is using maybe JUnit, REST Assured as part of their unit and integration testing. You can, if you are using similar kind of tool for end-to-end automation, that definitely will help. You'll get all the support, and maybe they could also contribute to the reviews and adding new scripts, maintenance, and at least get involved in those discussions.
Thank you. Cool. I'll take a couple of more questions. We have a minute more. So this is from Sandeep, who wants to know which tool best integrates or aligns with AI for a team with non-technical skills.
Okay. See, for tools, right? So little bit of technical skill still needed. I would prefer to start with that, because until and unless you don't have the technical mindset, you may not be able to know the tool properly. So blindly assuming that, okay, this tool has AI capabilities and it will solve all my problem, that will not work in real time. So you have to understand how the tool is built, what kind of information it is actually extracting from you, how your data is stored and saved in their cloud, and what kind of benefits you are getting from using those AI enabled tool. If you see it's really helping, you can involve non technical persons to speed up. You can do, but if you really sustain in the test automation world, I think technical skill is something you cannot ignore. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dimpy. I think we're right on time. Really appreciate you answering all the questions, and thank you so much for such an interesting workshop and an engaging one too. Thank you to our audience as well. Our next session would be starting very soon, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.